Woo! Hello everybody, what's going on? And welcome to the Shad Direct video, that's what I'm calling it, for My Hero Academia, the movie. Is it called the movie? Technically? Welcome to the Shad Direct video, the direct video, the redirect video. I don't have to say Shad Direct, I guess. For the My Hero Academia movie, two heroes. Fuck. God damn it. It's the fucking blooper reel. Hello everybody, what's going on? And welcome to the redirect, Shad Direct. Still not sure what I'm calling these. I'm pretty sure this is going to be the Shad Direct. But welcome to the redirect video for Let's Watch My Hero Academia, the movie, Heroes Rising. So go in the description, click on the Dailymotion, Google Drive, or BitChute links to watch me watch the My Hero Academia Heroes Rising movie. I keep getting the title confused with Two Heroes, but Two Heroes was the previous movie. This is called Heroes Rising. In case you haven't seen my Hero Academia series, I've also put up the Shad Archive video, or the Mass Direct, as I used to call them, or still am. I don't know yet. But I put up a video that links to my entire Let's Watch history with that show, so feel free to go check those out if you haven't seen My Hero Academia series and you want to catch up. There's a lot to catch up on, and it's been it was quite a history with that show, so go check it out if you want. But if you're already caught up and you're all set for some more My Hero goodness, here it is, man. Here's the movie, dude. The movie. That's a good energy drink right there. But yeah. Yeah. I just remembered I have to talk about this movie now. Oh no. Well, first, before we go into talking about it, I have a lot to fucking talk about. But first, yes, go watch the movie. It is split up into three parts on Dailymotion, but for the time being, that shouldn't be a problem because they're all evenly split up, so shouldn't be a problem. Just something to note, Dailymotion does have a time limit on how long videos can be, so it is split up into three parts. And yeah, you know what? Let's just jump right into the discussion, the Shad reviews portion of this. Let's just fucking jump into it, dude, because I have a lot to say here. Excuse me, my voice is a little strange this morning, so I might sound a bit off, but I'm just gonna fucking talk about it. Talk about this movie. I don't have any notes on it. In fact, I don't even have the thumbnail chosen yet, so I don't know what you're all looking at in the video. It'll probably be a picture of 9, probably, maybe. But before all that, let's talk about this, dude. No, I know what the thumbnail's gonna be. What am I talking about? It's gonna be that cool shot of Deku and Bakugo. What am I talking about? It's obviously gonna be that. Anyways, yes, so I am going to talk about spoilers. This is one of the rare occasions where I heavily recommend you watch my reaction to the movie first. This is one of the very rare instances in my entire Let's Watching career where I have not drastically different feelings, But my feelings have changed and evolved over the time that I have had... over the time I've spent thinking about this movie. My feelings have changed. Not a massive amount, but definitely enough that I feel the need to tell you all to go watch the actual movie first. Or at least watch the ending discussion. I think part 3 is mostly discussion only, if I recall. So definitely at least watch the ending of the movie. Part 3 on Dailymotion. I should clarify that. Also, excuse me if I'm stuttering up a storm in this. I don't know what's going on. My brain's broken. It's happening. Anyways, yeah, so please excuse me. But I really would recommend you get my full thoughts via the actual Let's Watch, because I am going to mainly be talking about my new feelings and my new thoughts. I will quickly recap my old feelings, but for the most part, once again, I must implore you to watch the actual Let's Watch first, get my full thoughts, fully understand where I was, so you can see where I am now and the change that has happened. With that said, let us talk about it. First things first, I want to talk about my general feelings from what I recall. From what I recall, when I first ended my reaction, also I'm going full on spoilers here, so be aware. Once again, watch the freaking episodes. Spoilers coming in 3, 2, 1. Can't believe Deku killed All Might with a gun. Shocked me. Jokes aside, actual spoiler discussion coming up now. Hold on. That helped a lot. Okay. So, from what I recall, my original thoughts after I finished the Let's Watch, my thoughts on the movie were it was about as good as Two Heroes. I remember coming out of Two Heroes kind of thinking to myself, that was okay. It wasn't bad. It just didn't really do much. It had some really cool animation, had some cool moments, but didn't do much for me overall. David was cool. The backstory on him was neat. But besides that, I'm not freaking out over here. And I believe, if I recall correctly, I ended my reaction to Heroes Rising basically saying I felt similar. I felt like, on one hand, I don't think the story was anything special, but I thought the fan service and just the raw excitement and energy and animation and all of that really spiced it up enough to be just as good as Heroes Rising. Maybe a little bit better, but not by much, because I was very disappointed in the complete status quo. Not that I didn't expect it, because obviously I was always expecting this to be a fairly unimportant movie. Anime movies tend to be that way, especially for like shonen series and whatnot. The movies tend to just be an excuse to make the series big, right? And I knew that the movie wasn't from the manga, so obviously they have to return to status quo. But I remember coming out of it just feeling like, oh man. It was a hard shock. 'Cause here's the thing. I was really disappointed in All for One. I mean, One for All. I was really disappointed in the complete, just complete fan service first, logic second, that it could just jump to another person, but only do a temporary power-up and all of these things. And I mention in the actual Let's Watch that I understand what it's trying to say. It's trying to say that One for All is more than just a power boost. But it was clear the movie had no intention of actually further explaining that, and that it was purely there for the sake of, we want Bakugo to do the cool thing, and that's it. And I thought it was purely fan service, and I thought that sucked. But let's get to my new thoughts. Because while I still feel similar to that, I feel like the Bakugo fake out is still lame. I still don't like that. I would have 1,000,000% rather the movie goes full on non-canon. I wish the ending was a alternate reality, and it straight up goes, yep, Deku traded it. Because, as I kept saying, it's very clear this isn't canon. I have since talked to some people who have alluded to the fact that this might actually be canon. I don't think there's any definitive evidence of this being canon. I don't think it's ever been brought up in the manga, which is what I would consider canon. I don't think these characters have ever been, like, directly brought up in the manga. I think there was a mention of Nine's design showing up, or of, like, Nine showing up in the manga or something. Hold on. Let me actually quickly see if that, like, what exactly that was. Hold on, if you don't mind. Nine manga. Like, I could have sworn someone briefly mentioned he showed up in the manga for, like, a panel, and it was just to, like, tease something, and it didn't actually go anywhere. I could have sworn someone mentioned that. Maybe I'm remembering the exact quote wrong, but I could have sworn it was something about that. Maybe not. Maybe. Oh, yeah. I'm seeing the page here. It's, like, just a brief reference to Nine, and it's just, like, alluding to him existing. It isn't even, like, anything special, and obviously he hasn't shown up in the manga for real, so, and mind you, I'd be all in for him showing up in the actual series, because I think he's a very interesting character who, if they had more time, could have really been something a bit more. But that's for a later discussion in this video. My main takeaway here is that the movie, at least at the time of me watching it, I thought it's clearly not canon, because this shit's not fucking canon. And if it is canon, it's the type of quote-unquote canon that doesn't matter, because it will never be referenced. Like, anything that ends with a, and then they forgot, could be canon or it could not be. It doesn't matter. It's the classic Persona Q thing, where they came out, where Atlas came out and was like, Persona Q is canon, and it's like, okay, sure, but no one remembers the events of Persona Q, so it doesn't matter if it's canon, because it does, like, it affects nothing if it is canon or not, because everyone forgot the events of it, so it doesn't matter. Like, we begin with the status quo, we end with the status quo, it doesn't matter. Except in this case, some characters don't end and begin with status quo. They kind of do, but it doesn't change the fact that they still went through these very trying events that I feel like would really change a person. Like, this was the most dire situation I feel like a lot of these characters have ever been in. And the idea that they just go home and they don't get changed from this is weird. Like, we saw how going through this stuff, how, like, being in the presence of All for One, like, drastically changed some of these characters. Like, Kirishima almost feels like a different person after that whole thing happened. With him being there, like, him being right next to these people. He was there, right? I'm not thinking of some other character. No, I'm pretty sure he was there. Anyways, the point is, after that happened to those students, there was a noticeable shift in their personality, at least for a couple episodes. Right? But the idea that this insane event that happened in this movie would have happened, and no one is changed. Everyone just returns home and stays the good, goofy buddies that they are. It's just a bit weird. And it's why I was so adamant that there's no way this is fucking canon. But then, with 9 showing up in the manga, even if it is just a slight reference, that would seem to imply maybe the movie did happen in canon. And I feel so conflicted on that, because on one hand, I feel like it sucks that it's not in the show, then. Because a movie format is not right for this. This is such an important thing for all of these characters. And 9 has no depth. Like, we don't get to learn about him, really. We get to learn a little bit, but not much. We don't get to learn about his friends, really, outside of they were outcasts, but we don't even really know why for some of them. And I just feel like it's such a missed opportunity, because these are really interesting characters. This is a really interesting setting, and I wish this wasn't canon. Because I feel like the idea of One for All being this weird power that can, like, subconsciously do other things is so lame, because it takes away from what makes Deku and All Might and all these other characters so powerful, that it is just a power boost. At the end of the day, it's their own willpower. It's their own strength. Yes, it's being amped up, but it's still them. And it sucks that the idea that it's more than that, and it is some kind of chosen one power, that just sucks. And that because the situation called for it, it worked differently than it does in every other situation. Cause God, wouldn't it have been crazy if that movie ended with the fucking hand clasp? And wouldn't it have blown your goddamn mind if it ended with, and then Deku fucking lost lost his power? Wouldn't that have been crazy? And it was like, this isn't canon, but this is an alternate reality where, hey, what if it did happen? Wouldn't that be so goddamn cool? I would respect this movie so much more if that did happen. And it's like, if on the off chance 9 was broken free and he did come free, in the manga's universe, he just never got free of that small pod. He stayed in there forever. But what if he did? Well, this would have happened, right? That would have been so much better than, and then blah, 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 and then everything returned to normal. That just sucks. And that's how I felt at the end, pretty much. But now that I've had some more time to think about it, I still stand by a lot of that. But I also respect it a bit more. Because I do stand by all of that stuff. I do stand by it could have been better, yada, yada, yada. But the idea of One for All being more complicated than what we think, I'm not as against that as I first was. I was totally against that, like, this power being some chosen one stupid bullshit. Like, I hated that. But now that I've had some more time to think on it, and some more time to really think about what that would mean for the characters, it doesn't take away anything. Because they still use their own strength, and it's clear that All Might never really fully understood these secret powers, and it's clear Deku didn't understand these secret powers, and in that moment, he did give it up. He did do this. The only part I don't like is Bakugo forgetting it. I'm fine with everyone else being knocked out. Bakugo forgetting it does kinda suck, but man, I would pop so hard if at some point in the anime, he does mention it, and he goes, hey, by the way, what was that? Like, I'd freak the fuck out. It's so weird, because now I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, you know what, no, I want it to be canon, because I want this to be mentioned, because it's so cool. And if we are going down the rabbit hole of what is One for All, which I suspect we are, with Season 5, if we are going down this rabbit hole of what is One for All, what is, you know, this quirk with all these weird fucking powers, and what is the chain, like, who had it before All Might's mentor, who had it before them, where did it come from, all of this shit, like, All for One being One for All being this weird, like, almost sentient alien life form that's in the form of a quirk. I almost wonder if we go down that rabbit hole, I wouldn't mind a scene where All Might's talking about, oh shit, this quirk is a lot more complicated than we thought, and just like seeing a text bubble from Deku saying, I wonder if that explains that one time with Bakugo. Like, just something small like that, to the point that I kind of do want to see that, even though I just had a huge talk about how if this is canon, it sucks, and this, and that, and this, and that. But the idea that this moment between them did happen, and I hope if that is ever brought into the canon, if it is, that Bakugo does remember it, because I still don't like the idea that he doesn't remember. That just seems so goddamn cheap. I can forgive him suddenly being able to use it, as he didn't get the real power. He got some weird hybrid power that boosted his skills, but also prevented him from blowing every limb off of his body, like he probably would have. Because a big problem I had was, if he suddenly has One for All, why isn't he blowing off his arm by just walking? Like, we saw how difficult it was to control with Deku. He would throw a ball, and his hand would fucking, like, explode. So how doesn't Bakugo deal with this? He's using it for the very first time, but if it is a more complex quirk than we know, maybe that's just a part of the temporary power boost. And the thing is, Deku can't use it because he doesn't know how to. And if he did the blood thing again, maybe it wouldn't work. Maybe he would give it up to Bakugo. We don't understand it. So on one hand, if this is canon, I'm going to be kind of pissed off. But on the other hand, if it is canon, I'm kind of into it now. And it's so weird how really not a lot has changed, but my feelings have gone from, if it's canon, I'm mad, to, if it's canon, I'm kind of excited to see this subplot explored in the actual series. Because I think this is a really interesting idea. I just don't love how it's done here because it's a movie and we don't have the time to really thoroughly explain it all. But the idea of this happening is awesome, dude. Like, the idea of exploring the ability to temporarily grant people one for all, or just more about what this quirk is and how it works, and if it gets more enhanced as you pass it along or something. Like, I wonder what it is. I want these answers, and I feel like this movie was clearly alluding to those answers. I just hope those answers actually exist, you know? And, yeah, that's how my feelings have changed. I feel like I came out of this movie pretty not down on it, because straight up, that ending with that animation, wow. Fucking wow, dude. That shit was bananas. Some of the best stuff I've ever seen, like, period. Shit was so cool. The scene with Bakugo putting his hand against the wall, and he's just melting through the wall, and his feet are, like, kind of skidding on the ground. I'm freaking out, dude. Just thinking about that's so cool, and I loved it. But I felt like what came after it just hurt it so bad. And it's weird how with time I've kind of come to accept it a bit more, and accept what it could mean for the future, and not just what I wanted it to be isn't necessarily what it should have been, you know? I was hoping for it to be a cool alternate reality ending. But just because I want that doesn't mean it's what would be for the best of the show. Clearly, whoever wrote this movie, I don't know if it was like the actual author of the series or not. I don't think it was. But I would hope that he had a hand in it. Or she, I forget who the author is. I think it's a he. But I hope that they had a hand in the series, in this movie's plot. Obviously, I don't think they wrote it entirely, but I would hope that they had a hand in it, and that they kind of said, hey, focus on this, make this happen, because I'm planning on doing something with it in the future. And I hope that is brought up, and I hope this isn't just a one-off movie that doesn't really mean anything in the grand scheme of things. If this movie is foreshadowing future things, I'm all in. If it's not, it's still a cool movie, just kind of disappointing that that's all it is, you know. With that said, let's actually talk about the movie a bit more, and a bit more of my specific feelings on it. First off, I do want to quickly mention the character of 9, despite the fact that I think he was very, underutilized and all that. I cannot lie. Him being voiced by JOHNNY YONG BOSCH did a lot for me, to the point that I now own a figure of 9. I don't know if I'll be taking a picture of it or something, but I do have a figure of 9. It was like $16, and I was like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? I will absolutely buy a figure of this character. This makes him my 4th My Hero Academia figure. I have Deku, Kirishima, Todoroki, and now 9. I got 9 before, like, All Might. I don't know what's fucking wrong with me. Although, it is funny enough, I now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I believe I now have 5 figures of characters that are voiced by JOHNNY YONG BOSCH, which is something worth noting. Just a fun little fact. But yeah, got a fucking figure of 9 just because his design is so fucking cool. It's so goddamn cool. It isn't a figure of him in his cool suit. Sadly, they didn't have a figure of him in a suit. But, still, really cool figure. Big props to Fan Presto for always getting those damn fine quality figures for cheap. Mad props to him. Like, dude, some of their figures are so fucking detailed and so, like, shockingly big and awesome. And they're like $20. Goddamn. Like, my Deku figure is so detailed and so good looking, and it's $20. Like, what the fuck? Anyways. Figure shilling aside. What else was I supposed to talk about there? Right, in the actual Let's Watch, if I recall correctly, I repeatedly talked about how Bakugo is getting a big-ass push. And I feel like... What the fuck? I ran into the desk and everything fell over. Anyways, I feel like I underestimated how much Bakugo grew in the previous seasons. I feel like I undersold it. Because I did go back to, I believe it was season 3, I think? And I rewatched parts of it, and I was kind of shocked that I forgot about the Bakugo Deku fight and how much that changed Bakugo and how much that meant. Because I feel like I was watching this going, oh my god, Bakugo is such a changed character in this. It makes no sense that he would just revert to the status quo. He's changed so much, and like... But he didn't really. He already changed in the manga, so... Like, in the anime by this point, he's already changed a lot. So, I don't know why I was, like, really pushing hard that this was a big Bakugo movie about him evolving, because it wasn't really. Mind you, he still got hella pushed. I stand by every goddamn frame with that guy's face was so detailed. Every time he was on screen, it was someone's job entirely to make him look as cool as possible. Every single time. I stand by that wholeheartedly. But his personality didn't change as much as I thought it did. I don't know why I was like I just forgot about that entire arc about him and Seku having their fight. But still a big fucking push for Bakugo in this movie. He's treated like a goddamn god. It's amazing. Like, they really push him hard. And there's still some really fun stuff in here, especially him with the kids and Deku trying to, like, drag him away from the kids and stuff. It's all fun. And yeah, just, overall a really fun movie with, man, it's hard. Oh, I gotta fucking give props to this movie. As much as I'm saying, like, it's cool animation and there's cool fan service stuff, but that's it. I cannot overstate the impressiveness of how so many side characters got their cool moments. Mineta did not. He is still trash. But everyone else had their cool little moments. And that's really fucking cool. I think I did mention this in the actual episode itself, but I really can't hammer home enough how cool it is to see, like fucking Tokoyami, I think that's his name. I called him Tokoyami this entire thing. I hope that's his name. If it's like Todoyami or something, I'm gonna feel really stupid. That's his name, boys. We did it. Why is the first thing that popped up when I typed in My Hero Academia Tokoyami? The very first thing was Tokoyami Exu fanfic. What the fuck is wrong? Okay. Anyways. Yeah, like, The fact that he gets to do his, like, dark magician, I called it fucking dark magician. I don't think that's its name, but what, just dark shadow, right? The fact that he got to do that again and it went berserk, super cool. Super cool reference to, like, early Tokoyami stuff. We got to see, I believe, Kirishima do his max hardening thing, which still looks so fucking cool. And of course, we got maybe my favorite part of the entire movie, maybe, excluding that final sequence with Deku, Bakugo, and 9. Excluding that, we got the coolest fucking thing. We got the scene where Todoroki shoved his entire arm into the Chimera dude's mouth and just fucking killed him. Like, damn. I stand by, like, that dude's gotta be dead, right? Like, that dude got it really hard. That was so brutal, dude. Dude, like, oh my god. I forgot how brutal that was. Like, he has his hand all the way down that dude's throat. And then you see ice crystals erupting from his mouth. Like, what do you think is going on down there, dude? Like, his throat must be torn up. That dude's not talking for a while. Like, the damage that must have been done to that dude. Poor fucking guy. You know? Poor fucking guy. Oh, yeah. But, speaking of those characters, I liked them, but man, I really could have done with more. Like, more of them, more of their backstories, because the little bit we got I thought was interesting, but could have done with more. And the one guy they captured never did anything. I really thought he was gonna pop up again at some point, but he didn't. That shocked me. But before we end it, because I feel like I've talked about most of what I had to say here. But before we end it, I do want to quickly mention, by far, the most important thing about this movie. Shigaraki's red coat. If Shigaraki doesn't have a red coat in season 5, I'm dropping the show. Anyways, with that said, thank you all for watching. This was the redirect, Shad direct, whatever I'm calling this shit. This was that video for My Hero Academia Heroes Rising, the movie. Hope you enjoyed. Hopefully I rambled on coherently enough. My brain is slowing down because I'm very tired. But here we are. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next episode of whatever comes next. Thank you all for watching, and goodbye. Thank you, thank you. Thank you. I'm not joking, though. If Shigaraki doesn't have his red coat, I am done. I am done with the entire series. This is not a joke. Thank you.